The Channel Mom Show, celebrating you with Jenny Dean Schmidt.
If you're a busy mom, get someone else to send your personalized cards for much less than a store-bought card and stamp. It's that easy. Just click on Send Out Cards.
Found it, Daniel. The Hey Mama song. Can we just keep it up real low on the bottom?
Do we know who the artist is?
Matt Kearney?
Yeah, there you go. Matt Kearney. And I just, I think I'm going to make this one of our theme songs.
We should.
Because he says, Hey Mama in it. Yeah. Hey, welcome back to the Channel Mom Show. We're just having a little chat about musical interludes. Okay. This woman's motto is, don't give your money away. And I often feel like I do that when I go to the grocery store. I just give it away.
Kind of give it away.
I didn't have to spend that much if I'd been more savvy about doing the coupon thing or grabbing the circular or whatever it is. That is her one of her mottos. Don't give your money away. She has been featured on ABC, NBC, Fox, and Glamour magazine, as well as another number of other media outlets. She has a website that could change your life, at least financially. She is Carrie Roca, and she wants to equip you to live within your means so that you can. And she's also got this fabulous Minnesota accent. I grew up in Minnesota, and I so love her accent. Welcome to the show, Carrie.
Good morning.
How are you,
Thanks
dear?
for having me.
Oh, we're honored to have you. Now, let's just get down to this because I want people to understand how you're different from some of the other financial folks that they can get advice from and how they can identify with you.
Right. Well, there's a couple of things. How you can identify with me first. I'm a mom. I've got a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. And in June 2006, which is actually before my kids were born, but my husband and I had about $50,000 in debt in addition to our mortgage, and we decided, my husband and I were like, well, we need to get out of debt. And I said, well, that's fine, but I'm not going to agree to do the effort to get out of debt because I knew it would be a lot of work, unless we also agree that we will stay out of debt for the rest of our lives. So we thought about it. We made that decision. Okay, let's do it. And we just set out to do it, to change our life. And people say to me, well, did you read like Dave Ramsey's book? Or no, I'd never heard of any of that. We just kind of figured it out, how to do it ourselves. 2.5 years later, I wrote the check that paid off the last of those debts. What we didn't see that was going to be coming was the Great Recession. So we were getting out of debt when it was not fashionable to be out of debt, when everyone was upsizing and supersizing everything. We were downsizing. And then the Great Recession came, and I felt like, wow, I feel compelled to help people with things we'd learned in our journey, how to spend less. And sure, part of that might be coupons, but there's a lot of things that we changed in our approach to how we spend money. But then just in how we relate to our money, think about our money. My husband and I just went through a huge transformation. I wanted to help other people, so I started a website, pocketyourdollars.com, to do just that. Started it as a community service. It took off.
Yeah.
And months after I launched it, it became my full-time job, and now I'm, a career money saver or something like that.
You get 1.3 million visitors a year. I mean, I my guess is when you started it as a little side job, you had no idea that it was going to be your new big-time job.
Exactly. It was for my friends and family, the 6 people that were my friends at the time on Facebook. I never would have guessed that, it would have the reach and the audience and the impact on people's lives that it does. I'm just honored to be part of it.
Yeah. I mean, and also, but you know what? I guess you're getting blessed as you bless others, and that's the great thing about it, because it sounds like you're really able to help people. So let me just ask you a really honest question. We over the years, my husband and I have made an impact on our debt, and we've been trying, different ways to approach that. And of course, I have women on the show on occasion that help me with coupons and a number of other things. But what I want to ask you, and I don't think I've ever asked anybody else this, do I have to stop getting anything nice? I mean, can I no longer wear any nice clothes? I mean, I thrift shop, just so you know. Most of my clothes are from thrift or consignment stores. But I'm kind of concerned, like, all that will go away, and I can never buy another nice lotion again, and my husband and I can never go out to eat again. And so could you just tell me, I mean, how much belt tightening involves just never doing anything fun or doing anything nice for yourself?
Right. Well, let's put it in a different context. Let's pretend that you are on a quest to lose weight, okay? Mm-hmm. And so you say, all right, I'm going to go on a diet, and I'm never going to eat chocolate. I'm never going to do this. And you have like 15 things you're never going to do again. Mm-hmm. So you're like, it's 11 o'clock on the first day, and you're coming up to lunch, And your mind starts thinking about everything you can't do.
Yeah.
And pretty soon, it's everything you can do to just keep yourself from the vending machine, right? Like Kit Kat, I need a Kit Kat. Because the more you're like thinking about the deprivation, the more you're stirring this desire.
Yeah.
So if you think about that, that's not the way to do weight loss, right? I mean, let's talk about some moderation, that sort of thing. It's the same thing where finances are concerned. I think people go too far into a ditch and they end up getting themselves kind of to fall off the wagon. There's no short, quick and easy, this is how much everybody needs to tighten their belt. It's different for everybody. But I think it's all an issue of prioritizing. We have money to spend on the things that are most important to us.
Yeah.
So figure out what those things are. Look, if it's private school for your kids, it's your shoe fetish, it's eating out in a nice restaurant, whatever it is. Yeah. You set that there and you plan for it, but then you recognize, look, that means I'm going to give something else up in a different area, and I'm okay with that. But it's a matter of making those choices consciously and not just kind of burying your head in the sand, pretending it'll all work out at the end of the month.
Right. And so you can choose some things that you really don't want to give up and just can maybe have a more frugal approach to them, but you can still have them in your life. By the way, we are talking to Carrie Roca of PocketYourDollars.com, and she's got a new book coming out that we're going to tell you about in a little bit too. Let me just ask you this. As Americans, as people in the Western culture, and I know Shelley's going to probably have a question for you as well. What do people do wrong? What do they do wrong with their money, with their mindset about their money, with their debt? What do people do wrong in general as a habit?
I think the number one thing is this whole consumerism mindset. Buy more, live large, and hey, I can pay for it later. There's this dissatisfaction. I think that's what's underneath it.
Yes.
That what we have just isn't enough. I might have, I have a Samsung Galaxy S2 smartphone. Well, the S3 came out, and I'm telling you, my S2 was just fine. I never thought that I didn't like it. Then I hear, oh, there's an S3. Suddenly now my S2 is just not quite good enough.
Yeah.
And it's this seated dissatisfaction. Stop. And it's like, then you have to stop and go, wait a minute. My husband and I had kind of an epiphany moment once where he said, you know what? I'm just going to choose to be satisfied because I realized even if money wasn't an object and I was able to acquire all of the things in the world that I would want, okay, whatever it is you collect or want or are into, you go and you buy every one in the whole world. By the time you get them home and unpack them, you'd be behind.
Yeah.
The world just moves too fast. So you just have to give up the idea that you can keep up with everything and just say, you know what, I'm going to choose instead to be satisfied with what I have, and then instill that in your kids.
Yes.
So that way they don't think, I need more in order to be happy, to be entertained, to be satisfied.
Absolutely. There's a spirit of discontentment, I like to call it, and I work on it with my kids really in spiritual ways to say, look, you can't have this approach to life that you're always discontent if you're not getting everything that you think you want. The other thing, Carrie, is that I don't know if you do this with your kids. I go through that exercise with my kids after they get something new and 3 days later, they're no longer playing with it. I remind them, do you remember how you were crying because you wanted that thing so badly and you said it was just going to make your day and you'd be happy and you wouldn't ask for any more toys for the rest of the year and you're already discontent with it? Did it really make you happy? And so then the next time you think you want something, will it really make you happy or will you be tired of it in 3 days? So I love that you say that we need to teach our kids that.
And you know what? My daughter and I, we were at a thrift store because we're big thrifters too. And we went on the everything's 50% off. And my kids know they can each pick out one thing when we go. And my daughter for the longest time she's 5. She had wanted a Barbie. Okay. So fine. But we hadn't she didn't say, I want a Barbie. And then I run out to Target and just go buy her whatever her whim is. It was like, well, we'll wait. And maybe for a birthday, something, you'll get one. We'll see. Well, we go into the thrift store, and they have this, big plastic bag, like a trash bag, but it was see-through, but it had probably, 15 Barbies in it. And she was like, Barbies! And then she's like, oh, no, they're all naked. There's no clothes with these Barbies. So then she just totally deflates, oh, man, I don't want them. And so we, kind of stop. Okay, well, let's have a conversation here. Here's your choices. You can get one brand-new Barbie from the store that will come with clothes. Or you can get these 10 or 15 naked Barbies from the thrift store. Well, then she's like, well, how am I going to get clothes? So we start to brainstorm. She's like, you know what? Christmas is in a few more months. How about if I got these? Because then my friends and I can play with them even if they're naked. And then I ask at Christmas time for clothes. And I said, well, sure, you could do that. This was last summer. So she did. She got them. She was content playing with them, with her little naked Barbies for a few months, learned to delay the gratification.
Yes.
And for Christmas, her grandmother's a big sewer and made her a bunch of clothes, and it all worked out well. But taking every one of those little moments with your kids when they're 3, 4, 5, I mean, it's not a matter of them being too young to get started on that, and then turning it into a little bit of a teachable moment and getting them to realize they can delay their gratification. They are satisfied independent of what they own.
Absolutely.
So
my daughter had to wait 8 months for a Basset Hound puppy, and she made a contract with Daddy, and she had to go on the internet. She did research. She wrote a little paper about it, and it was a great thing to delay her gratification in that situation. What about fraidy cats like me? How do we go use your website and get something out of it without feeling like we have to spend hours tracking the coupons or whatever, things like that?
Yeah. First of all, just get over that, okay? Just set it aside. You don't need to spend hours. Do what fits for your life, period, okay? Just that. And then recognize there's two main things that I can do for you on my website. One, on your weekly grocery shopping trips, I can help you. I've got shopping lists put together for stores like Target and Walmart and, kind of all sorts of national chains where you can come and I'll highlight for you. This is what's on sale at a really good sale price, and hey, here are coupons you can use with it. If you don't want to use the coupons, fine. You don't have to. You won't save quite as much, fine. But at least you're going to get a heads up what's on sale, and you can buy the items on sale at a better price, buy what you need to get through to the next sale. But apart from that, and in addition to that, I guess I should say, I'm also doing the work of collating and curating information from the internet about what good deals are out there and what are legitimate freebies. To me, a deal's not a deal unless it's 75% off or better. But I'm doing that work so you don't have to wonder, is this spam? Is it not? What's going to happen? One-stop shop, thinking about moms who have kids and families and need to buy gifts. I'm doing all that work for you.
I want you to have a chance to tell people about your upcoming book. We got 30 seconds. Tell them about it.
Yeah, it's called Pocket Your Dollars, and it's really the story of my husband and I getting out of debt through the 5 attitude changes that we made that transformed our life. The statements we tell ourselves, I deserve a treat, I'll fake it till I make it, if only I had more money, all of those things we used to say, kind of the what's underneath that, and then how to change those attitudes to something healthy and positive so that if you had a budget worksheet or those sorts of tools, they'd actually stick and make a difference.
Awesome. And it's coming out in January, right, Carrie?
In January. Yep, just in time for your New Year's resolution.
Perfect. I love it. Well, Carrie, you are a dear. So glad to have you on the show. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.